Bonjour and welcome to French Action, the channel which is going to help you with your CSEC exam in French. This video is a feedback on the speaking section with the questions which pose problem to many students in 2023. Do you want to find them out? Let's do it. Vous êtes prêts? C'est parti! This will be a listening exercise so that you can see if you would have understood the questions yourself. Then I will give them to you. But first, watch this lovely sea and relax. So we'll start with home and family. And there are 3 questions. Question numéro 1. Comment s'appellent les adultes de ta famille? Question numéro 2. Comment est ta tante préférée? Question numéro 3. Aimerais-tu habiter au bord de la mer? Pourquoi? So, we're going to start with home and family, and the first question is, comment s'appellent les adultes de ta famille? So when you hear comment s'appelle, you know that we are looking for names. And then the key word here was adult. And many students didn't know that word or maybe didn't recognize it in the question. Comment s'appellent les adultes de ta famille? The second question, comment est ta tante préférée? What is your favorite aunt like? So here we are looking for a description, a physical description, and maybe something about her character. And the last question, aimerais-tu habiter au bord de la mer? So this one was very funny because most people understood habites-tu avec ta mère? Do you live with your mother? Which is not that at all. Would you like to live by the sea? Okay, so that was a very funny thing. I remember many students got it wrong. So make note of those questions. We continue with the daily routine. And we only have 2 questions here. Question numéro 1. Qui nettoie la maison? And question numéro 2. Quel repas est-ce qu'on prépare à la cuisine chez toi? Did you understand those questions? So number 1, it was qui nettoie la maison? I think many students didn't understand the qui. Qui is who. Whenever you have a question starting with qui, you need to think of a person. And I'm not sure if some students knew the word nettoyer, which gives you nettoie, which is to clean. Who cleans the house? Then in the second question, we have quel repas est-ce qu'on prépare à la cuisine chez toi? Well, for this one, it's basically which meal is word for word prepared in the kitchen at home. So I would say which meal is cooked at home. And I added quel repas prépare-t-on à la cuisine chez toi, which is another way of asking the same question. All right? So quel repas? So we're talking about either breakfast, lunch, obviously you will be at school, and dinner. So it's more likely to be petit déjeuner or le dîner. Okay? Then we had 3 questions in sports and recreation. Question numéro 1. Quelles sont les équipes sportives dans ton école? Question numéro 2. Que fais-tu pour garder la forme? Question numéro 3. Où vas-tu pour regarder les films? Number 1, we had quelles sont les équipes sportives dans ton école? Équipe sportive. Sportive was probably the problem, or even the word équipe, which means teams. So what are the teams, you know, in sports? Which one are there in your school? So that's the one you were supposed to, you know, you were supposed to talk about the teams. Okay, so football team or whatever. Then you have que fais-tu pour garder la forme? What do you do to keep fit? So here I'm not sure if garder la forme was the problem here. Garder la forme, please make a note, to keep fit. And the last one, où vas-tu pour regarder les films? Here again, when we ask questions with où, students are lost. It's the same où we have in où habites-tu. Okay, so where do you go to watch films? So the obvious answer is the movie, but you could also say that you go to your friend's house, you know. So these were the questions. And the last topic was travel. And here we have 3 questions. The first one is, quel pays aimerais-tu visiter? Question numéro 2. Tu habites à quelle distance de ton école? Et question numéro 3. Où vas-tu normalement pendant les grandes vacances? So for the first question, we had quel pays aimerais-tu visiter? But many students actually understood quel pays as-tu visité? So they would tell you which country they visited, which is not the question. Quel pays aimerais-tu visiter? Which country would you like to visit? So you have to start with j'aimerais visiter, and then you give the name of the country. Second question, tu habites à quelle distance de ton école? I think students understood tu habites, but quelle distance is probably the problem. So distance wasn't really understood, and some students were unable to answer that question. So how far do you live from school? So quelle distance, we expect to hear something like j'habite à 2 km de l'école, 10 km de l'école. This is something like that we are expecting to hear. And the last question, où vas-tu normalement pendant les grandes vacances? Here again, maybe the où was a problem, but also les grandes vacances. You need to remember that grandes vacances, the big holiday, is in fact the summer holiday. So when you go for the summer, you don't need to say les vacances d'été. The French usually say les grandes vacances. So you need to make a note of that. So just a recap of words which were not understood. Équipe, which is team. Adulte, which is adult. Pays, be careful with, it's not pays, but pays, which is country. De bonheur, which is early. Tâche ménagère, chores. And les fruits, which is a word you know, but sometimes you don't understand the word. Les fruits, for fruits. I made a note of the main mistakes which was recurrent is je travaille for I travel. So be careful, je travaille means I work. Okay, so you wanted to say je voyage and not je travaille. And then you would say je visite mes amis. You need to remember again that you don't visit somebody. You have to say je rends visite à mes amis or je vais voir mes amis. I wish you all the best for your exams this year. Until next time, au revoir!